Welcome back. It's August 27th, 2023, Sunday afternoon. Beautiful Sunday afternoon here at the Hotel Orloff in historic Rural Retreat, Virginia. Looking through comics in the comic room, trying to file some comics in, trying to get some comics pulled out. Like I just noticed some romance comics that I'm putting the romance comics in a separate place. Here's My Love 25 from the wonderful 20-cent era. I'm so glad I was a little kid during the 20-cent era. I was just thinking how great it is to have been born in 1965 because I got to experience this wonderful time period of the 20-cent era when it was perfect to be a 7-year-old when Ghost Rider, Werewolf by Night, Tomb of Dracula, Monster of Frankenstein, all those monster comics were coming out from Marvel, and DC had all their wonderful horror titles. It was like an explosion of horror in the early 70s, and I was right there. And then I discovered the superhero comics. It was just a wonderful time. I watched some people on YouTube, and they were born just a few years after me, like 9 years later, and they're nostalgic, not like I am, about the early to mid 70s and the 60s stuff that was still very readily available in the 70s. But they're nostalgic about the 80s or the late 80s or even the 90s. But it's just a matter of when you were a kid, I guess. I can't, just say. Now, if you were born when I was, never mind, don't worry about it. The ideal time, I was just thinking, when would be the best time would be if your dad came back from World War II and you were born right after the war. That would be perfect. Let's say you were born in 47. You would have been a little kid. Let's say it's 45, say. Then you would have been, you would have experienced the EC, the pre-code horror era, like I did the Werewolf by Night early 70s era, right? And then you would have been 20 and 65 at the height. That was when Marvel was at its best. And you would have, maybe it'd be better to be born a few years later, 47, 40, then you'd be a real little kid, or you'd still have experienced pre-code horror. You would have, let's say you were born in 47, you would have been 10 when about 10 when the Silver Age started. You would have been still a kid when all the Marvel heroes started. I don't know. But, then you would have been draft age during the Vietnam War. So, there's a trade-off. But things are wonderful. I just got a wonderful order for bunch of episodes of Tomb of Terror this morning, so that has secured some meals for the next few days. So I really appreciate that. Going through books here tonight, and let's see, it's about 1:40 right now. A little more than 4 hours from now, Captain Strangeliffe is going to have a big blowout live stream here on YouTube. You got to go to Captain Strangeliffe, and it's his 14th year on YouTube. And as far as I know, he was the first person to think of using YouTube to showcase his collection and the environment that he lives in, his world of stuff, his amazing basement and a collection that extends into the rest of his house. And I first discovered Captain Strangeliffe and a bunch of other people. I didn't discover him 14 years ago. I don't think I was aware of comic book stuff on YouTube way back then. Let's see, 14 years ago. This is 2023. Yeah, that back then. I guess I didn't realize people were talking about comics on YouTube. How I discovered all the comic book community on YouTube is my wife was called away to help her family. There was a horrible hurricane that hit Houston. my wife's family lives down there. Her mom and her sister and our nephew, and then the unborn child that hadn't been born yet. What happened is the hurricane happened, right? And then my wife's sister marked, "I'm safe." You know how the people mark, "I'm safe" on Facebook. And everything was fine. And then the next morning, there was just a little bit of water seeping in under the door. It's like, oh, shit. Then it was a bigger puddle inside the house. And before a few hours passed, and she video recorded it and put it up online. And then a few hours later, there was 6 feet of water in the house, and they were up on top of their truck in the driveway, and they had to have a boat rescue them. And my wife's sister was pregnant at the time, and so it's going through all that. So my wife, I had a full-time job. My wife didn't, so she went down to Houston and stayed with her family while they stayed in a hotel, or did they put them up in an apartment? No, it was an apartment, I think, while they fixed their house, restored it. And so she was gone 3-4 months, and it was like I was a bachelor again. I was just all on my own again. I had my dog Daisy and my cat. My beagle Daisy passed away during the time that my wife was gone. She was elderly, and it was just a unbelievable time. And so I would get on YouTube and I found this whole network of amazing people. Captain Strangelove, who was the godfather that started it all, and then there was Dr. Silver Age, and there was AFTA Comics, there was Silver Age Dave, there was Shannon, there was Howler Mouse. King of Comicdom did the same thing I did. He separated his Silver Age and back from his Bronze Age and up in separate boxes. I don't know that he's on YouTube anymore. And there was all these great people. It was fantastic. And since I've met a lot of them, and now there's a lot of new people on YouTube. And I met Captain Strangelove a few times in person. He stayed here like a week. He's a great guy. I got upset with him a couple of months ago, but you know, it's like it happens in families. You know, brothers have arguments. You know, it's like people, but we get over it. And so anyway, live stream tonight. That should be spectacular. It's the first time he's done a live stream, hosted a live stream. He's been on live streams. So he's got an amazing collection, a truly epic collection. And so I'm just going through books, pulling out random books. I'm not necessarily showing you everything. It's a Bill Ray cover. What else is in here, man? This book, Punisher Armory. Boy, Marvel would never put this out today, and I guarantee you they'll never reprint it. It's just nothing but page. It's not a comic story. It's page after page of pictures of guns and weapons. Can you imagine them doing that today? And it's the Punisher telling you about the weapons. Yeah, that'll never happen today. Punisher Armory. I'm obviously in a pee box. Not a kitty litter box, but oh, this is a good cover, but it's one of those, if it says Max, it's gonna be like an ultra violent, like insanely violent comic, and it's gonna push all the R-rated boundaries. That's what they were doing there for a while. I never thought it was wise for a comic company to do that, but they chose to do it. There's the first issue of Punisher War Journal. Not that anyone cares. I think this is a key issue. It's like, you know, that's what people get thrilled about, key issues. That's a pretty good cover. He's on the Autobahn. I have childhood memories of being on the Autobahn in Germany, because we live in Germany. I just remember whoosh, as cars went past us as we're driving along in my dad's Ford Fairlane station wagon, and that would be the sound of cars going past us, because there's no speed limit on the Autobahn. This is, or was, a somewhat sought after book. Someone was pointing out if you look at his hand there, if you count the fingers, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it looks like that's his thumb gripping the, so basically that, which you don't fire a gun with your thumb. So basically they drew 6 fingers on that hand, but it's still a cool cover. Oh my gosh. This was a big deal for a little bit. Power Pack with Beta. I don't think anyone cares about Beta Ray Bill anymore. He was a cool character, but you know, people were excited when the Marvel movies were actually good, and but then they stopped being good. I don't know. Maybe there's people still speculating. There was a movie called Wild in the Streets. This is kind of the comic book version of that, about a teenage president. This one's a childhood copy. I know you can tell me all you want. I've got to get these things bagged and boarded. Someday it'll happen. Look at this ad. It's a Punisher miniseries. This is mid-'80s. I like this, but by the mid-'80s, I was kind of getting, it was like, Secret Wars 2, those are just cash grabs. They're trying to sell a toy line. I thought it was, what I liked is when I was in 5th grade and they brought Plastic Man back. This was a fun book. Oh boy. Or what is Corona? Remember when they called it that? Then it was, that was all they called it there at the beginning, and then it became COVID-19, but it was Corona at first. And the sales of Corona beer plummeted because they had, remember that? I guess Corona's recovered. I don't know that Bud Light will ever recover. It's pretty bad when there used to be diet. There were commercials all the time on the radio. Like during the Larry King show late at night, it was always sponsored by AIDS diet pills, and it was spelled AIDS. But then the AIDS epidemic started in the 80s, and it's like, oh no, our product there's a new disease, and it's the same name as, maybe not spelled the same as our product. That's what happened to Corona. Oh boy, Rawhide Kid, blazing Western action as you like it. Lots of Rawhide Kids here. Okay, wonderful. Ooh, this is a great book. Red Sonja. I guess Dynamite is putting out a Red Sonja book today that is, in my opinion, not worthy. It has, from what I've seen, I mean, if there was a Red Sonja book coming out that had decent art, I'd buy it. I mean, unquestionably. I would cross great rivers of blood and fire to get a Red Sonja book, but this was the time period. Comics hadn't gone bad yet. This was still the 30-cent era. Apparently there's a Red Sonja movie that's already been made. The finished Red Sonja movie. But I don't think they can find a distributor, which is not a good sign. In the old days, that meant direct to VHS. That reminds me of that Bernie Casey movie, Gargoyles, the TV movie. You have to be my age to know what I'm talking about. This cover... Oh, that's why it's Frank Bruner. I always remember how great this cover was when I saw it at Lone Star Comics for the first time in 1978. So I guess I would have been 13 years old. Red Sonja. Then they started the series over. It looked like that. Wait a second. How did this song from Sound of Music become a Christmas song? I don't think of Christmas when I think of this song. Oh well. But they changed her outfit for this series. What are you doing there, Daisy? How dare you? Yeah, they made her. I don't know why they changed it. Looks a little crazy on this cover. Oh, here's Red Wolf from the 20-cent era. What are you doing, Daisy? You can't fit through there. Drew. Oh, I called her Daisy. Drew. Because I was just thinking about Daisy a minute ago, because let me move the box for you. You can't fit through there. She's gonna squeeze through these comic boxes if it's the last thing she does. Let me move that. There you go. Can you fit now? You should have gone the other way, man. What's wrong with you? Red Wolf. A wonderful Western comic. Oh. They later put him into the crazy world of today with bikers and stuff. They even made a comic out of Ren and Stimpy. Yeah, if it's 6 o'clock Central and you're watching this on August 27th, turn off this show, go over watch Captain Strangelife's show, then come back to this one later because it'll be live. And this is weird how they put this 30-cent price tag sticker over Richard Dragon Kung Fu Fighter. Everything was Kung Fu back then. This was a fun comic, Rima the Jungle Girl. I always thought this was, as a kid, I thought that Kubert had made a mistake there. The way you can see her leg through the... Either she's an apparition or the cat is an apparition. Anyway, beautiful cover. Rima. I have 2 copies of that. Do I have the complete series? I don't know. Here's Rima 2. Rima 3, still only 20 cents. That was always an ominous thing when it said still only. Rima 4. Rima number 5. Hopefully there are only 5 issues, because that's all I've got. Look at this beautiful cover on the Ringo Kid. Ringo Kid number 16. It's reprints from the 50s. Oh, one reason to watch Captain Strangelove tonight, he's giving away... Oh wait, there's more Ringo Kids. Rocket Raccoon. One of the many reasons he's given away some prizes, and one of the prizes he's giving away ROM Space Night number 1. This comic. He's giving away some Golden Age books too. This is the newsstand, and say they just put a line through it and change it to a diamond shape if you got it at a comic store. That's the difference. This is a pretty high dollar book for a while. For a while it was selling for $100. I think it's not as much now, because the thought was that Marvel was never going to reprint ROM Space Night because it's based on a toy that's... And it's like, how can they'd have to get permission from the toy company to reprint it. But apparently they have, because they're coming out, or maybe they already have come out with an omnibus book where it'll reprint all of these books in a really thick book that's completely impossible, very difficult to read, because it's like reading a giant Oxford dictionary or giant Bible. But I don't know. Here's number 4. Did I just show you that? Number 5. This is a fun comic. It's and there were some issues Steve Ditko did the art for. ROM Space Night. It was a little robot about the size of it, maybe a little bit bigger than the original G.I. Joes. It was, I didn't think it was that cool looking at the time, but it's a good comic, and got 9, 10, 11, do I have a complete set? 12, 13, 14, 15, then I'm missing 16 and 17, 8, I've got 18, don't have 19, beat up copy of number 20, here's 21, there's 21, looks like I'm missing 22, 23, 24, 25, oh look, it's a double-sized issue where he's fighting himself. Oh, you know, I just saw The Flash yesterday. Before it came out, everyone was talking about it being great. James Gunn said it's like one of the best superhero movies he'd ever seen. Then it came out, and people were saying it was great, and then all of a sudden there was a new wave of people that said it was terrible. And I thought it was pretty good. Not a fan of the actor that plays, forget his name, that plays, his name, Ezekiel Watts or something, I don't know, someone that plays the Flash. He's always being arrested for horrible, vile crimes in real life. He's a real odd actor. He's like a real odd guy, like Crispin Glover. Just an odd human being. People have criticized it for its special effects, the CGI, and CGI is bad in some scenes, but I kind of was forgiving of that. Now, the actor can be annoying, but I enjoyed the movie. I don't have any. I wouldn't. It wasn't bad. I gotta look through here. Hold on. GI Combat. Poison Ivy. Power Girl. Okay. These are some new books that I need to put into this box. Okay, so if this box, Punisher, Peter Parker, okay. Plastic Man, okay. Oh, this is a cool fake 80-page giant. It looks like a 60s 80-page giant, but it's Plastic Man stories. That one's from Dial H for Hero and House of Mystery. Then it has a Golden Age story. I would recommend you seek this out. I'm not going to recommend much because in these times you don't need to be buying comics. You need to be saving your money. You need to be planning for whatever eventuality might happen, because I think society is very unstable right now, and it would benefit you to have water and bags of rice and food. You know, who knows what's going to happen. We're living through historical times, and I wouldn't buy comics right now. not expensive ones. And these books that I'm showing you, this is not a haul video. These are not books that I just bought. These are books that I bought in some cases 30 years ago, in some cases 50 years ago when I was in elementary school. The wrong time to go out buying comics right now, unless you're just buying real cheap stuff. And there are a lot of people. I feel weird. I would feel weird. I don't know. I don't remember. I was going off on this story a few minutes ago because I was doing a show and my camera died in the middle of the show. And so I don't remember what I just said, if it was in the last video or if it was. I don't want to repeat myself. But so I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is an issue of Power Girl. You know it's Power Girl because they got it. This is the new thing in DC Comics, is they put the title real small where you can't see it, but it's Power Girl #1. So somewhere in theory I have that All-Star 58 with the first Power Girl. I haven't been able to find it in years, so I'm just considering it something that's spontaneously combusted, and I don't know where to find it. So, anyway, I guess Power Girl would be before the Punisher, before Prez, before Power Pack, Power Girl. Okay, so after Plastic Man. This is the most recent incarnation that I'm aware of Plastic Man. It was this is a new comic that I got. I guess I got it because I mean, it looks like storyboards for an animated cartoon. I just thought I'd try it. Plastic Man, Power Girl goes there. Now, I like this cover, and so Kevin at Gotham City Comics, I said, that looks cool. Who's that artist? And he just threw it in free into a shipment he sent me because I like the cover. I don't know anything about the book. It's a modern Marvel book, so I assume it's not very good. But I just thought that's what a nice painting that is. Rogue and Gambit. Could be good. I mean, it's possible. I mean, the sun could be made out of chocolate, you know, that's possible, right? I was sitting in the cafeteria in 7th grade, and you know, because it says in the Bible, with God, all things are possible. And he says, if all things are possible, then that means that the moon could be made out of cheese. He was just saying, it says in the Bible, all things. It's like, I don't think that's exactly what it means. If it says all things are possible, there could be little tiny men living inside of my brain, like mining. It's like that's the thing about you sitting in a cafeteria, and it's like you gotta sit with somebody, and it's just you have these conversations well, this guy liked American Werewolf in London, and I liked American Werewolf in London, so therefore we're friends. That's about the only thing we have in common. But everyone else in the cafeteria is such a complete ridiculous a-hole that this is the only person I can talk to, but it turns out this person's just as insane as everyone else that there. Okay, so here's Rocket Raccoon #4. R-O-C-R-O-G. What is this? Oh, this is another Rocket Raccoon, like a modern Rocket Raccoon thing. So Rocket Raccoon, Rogue, then ROM. Okay, then there's this issue of Poison Ivy #10. Oh, speaking of The voice of, I forget her name. I don't think I ever knew her name, but the lady that did the voice for Harley Quinn in the original '90s Batman cartoon passed away yesterday. I think that's what I found out about it. Maybe I found out about it last night. I don't know when it happened, but the Harley Quinn character is very different now than the way she appeared in that '90s Batman animated series. I mean, they created the character of Harley Quinn because DC had started to put this stuff into the comic. Let me get this filed. Where that Batman Arkham was it Arkham House, Arkham Knights, it was Arkham Asylum. It was an Arkham Asylum no, it was a graphic novel. Arkham Asylum. It came out maybe in the late 80s. It came out on Thanksgiving Day. Lone Star Comics in Arlington opened on Thanksgiving Day. Everyone went there before their Thanksgiving dinner to get the new big Batman talked about graphic novel. And I was kind of disgusted by it because they had the Joker in a wedding dress wanting to get married to the Batman, and it introduced all these things, and that the Joker was really in love with Batman and all this. And I wound up, I don't sell books, but I sold that book to a friend because I just I wanted it in my collection. I just thought that's not. And so when they made the Batman cartoon, in order to say, okay, no, it's not that Joker, they gave the Joker a girlfriend, kind of as a beard, I guess. And so that's where Harley Quinn came from, and she doesn't wear that outfit anymore. And now, and there was this buddy relationship between Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy in the original cartoon, and I guess the creators really intended it to be something more, but it wasn't ever explored in that. But now, of course, it is, and all these. There's some new Harley Quinn TV show that's on HBO that's for adults. It's a cartoon. It's vile. It's just R-rated or more. Just everything about it is. I just don't like that stuff. I don't like characters being treated that way. But now it's all written into canon that they're a couple, and that's. It's just like two characters that are the same sex can't be friends. It has to always be pushed that it's something more. Well, anyway, that's the way things are. Poison Ivy. PQ. There's the Question. There's Punisher. Did I just show you the Punisher? I think I did that the first time I filmed this. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, Power Girl. Poison Ivy would be right before. Yeah, alright, it's right there. Okay, fantastic. Scheisse. So, if it's, you're watching this and it's 6 o'clock or after, tune in over there, Captain Strange Life. The godfather of YouTube comic people. Okay, what do we got in this box? Well, it's my childhood copy of Moon Knight #1. He was created to be Marvel's Batman. A little bit of the Shadow mixed in. They changed the Moon Knight character later and made him a little bit different, but we don't need to look at these Moon Knight books. What else is in here? Did I just show... Did I show you this? Man, what? I think I did that the first time I tried to do this episode. This is Ms. Marvel #1. That's they have the Spider-Man cast there to help make sure that this sells. And this is what later grew into Captain Marvel, which is made into a movie, which was really when we started to realize how bad the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it was starting to head downhill. So I remember buying that one at the Kmart. I don't remember Kmart regularly having comic books, but I have a vague memory of buying Ms. Marvel #1 at the Kmart. Anyway, so, you know, she starts with the bare midriff, right? This one, it's not drawn that she has a bare midriff, but if you look, they colored it like she has a bare midriff, but there's no line. So they were, I don't know if they were getting complaints about how scantily clad she was, but see, they start covering up the midriff. And say, okay, it's gone up to 35 cents. Yeah, they made her a little more modest, and then by issue 20, they completely changed her outfit. I remember buying this like it was yesterday at Lone Star Comics, and it was actually 1978. Wow. Oh, around this time, DC brought back Mystery in Space. Well, not many words here. Oh, it's a wordless story. Yeah, DC started trying to push science fiction comics, and they had Time Warp also. They didn't last long. Isn't this a wonderful? That's a great cover. Mystery in Space number 112. When they brought it back, they kept the original numbering from the 60s. There's Nom. Ooh. This issue of the Nom was like a realistic comic about the Vietnam War, written by a Vietnam veteran. But then they bring the Marvel characters in, and you know, and of course Iron Man had his origins in the Vietnam War. But they bring them in. I don't have a whole lot of issues of the Nom. That wasn't really the time period I was buying a lot of comics. Was it the lady? My magnifying glass is up here, but it's way over there. I think that says 1990. I'm just showing you random books as I go through this box, which is obviously letter N, New Mutants. Oh, this is a directly distributed, only in comic stores, reprint of the New Gods Kirby stuff. DC was always reprinting the Kirby stuff, which means that they knew it was, you know, at the time they thought it was unsuccessful. I told you about that so many books were being sold out the back door at the distributor houses that they thought it wasn't selling because they were getting low sales records coming back from the newsstand. That's because the newsstand didn't get as many books because they were selling them before they ever shipped them to the newsstand to comic collectors and dealers to resell for more. So, this is yeah, this is New Mutants 98, first Deadpool. His body is so extended, it's so weird. Like standing there like the Venus de Milo. In fact, it's hard to even see him on the cover because it just doesn't look like a human body. I don't think it's the right time to sell this book. If I was to sell that now, I think I'd regret it. I don't really care about comics from that time period because I think it will wind up going up in value. It would be like selling Amazing Fantasy 15 in 1976 for $150, which is what it says it's valued in that price guide down there. Got an old price guide. Then you'd regret it later when you said, of course, will I be around in 40, 50 years? I don't think so. Here's a Steranko cover on a Nick Fury reprint. They started reprinting a lot of stuff at that time. Let's see. Here's a modern book from a couple of years ago where they reprint Night Nurse comics. And then I think they have one modern story in here. And then they have the Daredevil ad on the back because there's a original art for one of the issues. Because Night Nurse was in the Daredevil Netflix series. That's why they put this out. Except she wasn't a blonde. She was African American in the series. But it's the same basic character that takes care of superheroes when they're injured. Is the deal. So that's why they did that. And this is Marvel reprinting the old Ghost Rider stories, but since there was a new Ghost Rider, they called him Knight Rider when they brought him back. Knight Rider. Wish I had more of those. Nova. Apparently OMAC was in that new Blue Beetle movie where they mentioned OMAC in it. I haven't seen it. To me, that's not my Blue Beetle. That's not the Blue Beetle that I read, the Charlton Blue Beetle. I hate to sound snobbish. There are stuff that, oh man, what time is it now? 2:30. Here's DC after they got a hold of Peacemaker from Charlton. The Watchmen series was originally going to be the Charlton characters, but they decided we don't want to kill off and make all the characters we just bought into mockeries, so they changed the names and Peacemaker became the comedian. That was a little mini-series. Remember buying this in 5th grade. This was supposed to be more about Peter Parker than and his civilian identity, which to me was always more interesting in Amazing Spider-Man. I always liked when he was out of the Spider-Man suit and I was getting to see Peter Parker's life. Man, I'm on that Biden. Have you heard about the Bidenomics diet plan? I've lost like 7 pounds. It's amazing how not eating can help you lose weight. But I've made 2 sales of people ordering multiple copies of Tomb of Terror, the TV show that I produced, so that has given us a little bit of extra money to survive. It's a beautiful cover, isn't it? It's Paul Gulacy, who did Master of Kung Fu. Just gorgeous. People were speculating on this book, but then they saw the movie and they realized, oh well, yes indeed. I didn't like the black suit. That's one of the things. When was this? Yeah, see, the Secret Wars didn't interest me. The black suit, it's like, why change it? I wasn't there for the. By the time they brought in Venom, I was kind of gone. These are issues I think I bought later. Yeah, I don't know. I thought maybe I was wrong. I'll try them out. But bottom line is, there were good comics during that time, but I kind of like the Spider-Man from the 60s and from the 70s. And whew. Let's see. What else can I show you? This Spider-Man costume. Oh no! Gosh darn it. Oh man. So if you haven't done it, go ahead and subscribe. Put a like down below or something like that. Let's see, what's in this? Oh, okay, I'm trying to file stuff from. This looks like an M box. I thought I saw I had something need to be filed in here. Oh. Yeah. I could probably file this Marvel Saga, a couple Marvel Saga, and a Metal Men in this box. So let's see what's. This box starts with Marvel Age. There's issue of Marvel. There's some issues of Marvel Age is basically. It was just like a magazine Marvel put out to talk about what was going on in their comics. This is when that Punisher movie came out with Dolph Lundgren. There's some good She-Hulk covers. I preferred the Savage She-Hulk. It was the special Macho issue. Let's see. That's when they had the rights to the Toxic Avenger. There's Marvel Chillers with Mordred the Mystic. Number 2. So I wonder what was Marvel Chillers. I have 2 copies of number 2, but I don't have number 1. I wonder what number 1 was. Here's Tigra. Which I as a kid, I called her Tigra. Because I didn't guess, I guess I didn't realize that, well, it would probably be Tigress, and she's a tiger. Got 2 copies of that. Issue 4. Another 5. Looks like I have a bunch of copies of issue 6. There's that Red Wolf character. 6, 6, 6. Ooh, that's an evil number. I have 3 6s. Then a 7. I think we got some Kirby covers here. Marvel Classics comics. Time Machine. Dracula. Well, let me. War of the Worlds. Marvel's trying to get on in everything, you know. They were trying to steal Warren's game with their black and white horror magazines. They were trying to get in on Classics Illustrated game because they figured they could sell these books to maybe school teachers. There's Frankenstein. Food of the Gods. Invisible Man. the Iliad. Marvel had pretty good taste as far as the books they adapted. Pit and the Pendulum. Prisoner of Zenda. The Arabian Nights. First Men in the Moon. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, you'd have to be a contortionist to do these shows. Some people wonder, why don't you hold the book up longer? Well, sometimes it kind of is not easy. Oh, this was a Halloween Comic Fest. I guess that's like a free comic day, but for Halloween. This was a giveaway from Wild West Comics. See, when Lone Star sold all their brick and mortar businesses, well, no. They had the one anchor store left, and they sold it and went to strictly mail order. And the young people that bought it, they kept the store looking pretty much the same, but they changed it from Lone Star to Wild West. It's the same number of letters as Lone Star, and it has the same basic meaning. And so, okay. So that's where I got that. This was, everyone has this, I think. Okay, let's flip around. Marvel Comics presents. I'm looking for. Oh man. And Marvel was doing these reprint comics. Marvel double feature in the 70s that were reprinting old Tales of Suspense comics. Got a bunch of those. And there's Marvel Fanfare. Will I have Marvel Fanfare? Marvel Fanfare. There's Shauna. They do a fake romance cover on the back. Some beautiful art in Marvel Fanfare. This is a book that people have ignored for decades. It's been in dollar bins. Someday people will rediscover it. Who knows when? Marvel Feature presents The Defenders. Issue 2. I guess it would have been better if I had issue 1. Here's number 3. Issue 4, The Astonishing Ant-Man. And more Ant-Man. And you're here to see key issues, so I'll just show you the key issues. Oh, and then there's, I was showing you Red Sonja. Here's Marvel Feature number 1 with Red Sonja. I think I was showing you Red Sonja. I don't remember what I showed in this episode. I have 2 copies of that. The reason being, I don't know. I have no idea. 3. I don't know if I'm going to get to the